if you remember the story of Israel, right? They came out of Egypt and they're at this mountain, Mount Sinai, for a year. They're sitting there, right? And they're there for a year before they ever start their journey to the promised land the first time. They're kind of hanging out there for a year. And then their journey takes a little longer than they anticipated too, because some countries wouldn't let them go through their land and they would have to go around and all these kinds of things. And then eventually they come to the promised land and then they choose not to enter it, being disobedient, and then they get to spend 40 more years figuring that out. So one of the reasons why they spend a year at the foot of this mountain, and one of the reasons why God takes them on this long journey to the promised land the first time, was because it was going to take a while for God to root out the habits of their slavery. Right? Social scientists know this, that when people are rescued out of slavery, or when they're rescued out of extreme poverty, or when they're rescued out of abusive relationships, there are things that they will continue to do even though they are free, that they have plenty, right? When we adopted our 3 youngest children, there were things that those children did for a long time that were things that they needed to do in order to survive, or that they learned to do in order to hold on whatever it is that they believed that they needed. There's things that they did there for a long time before we were able ever to gain their trust and let them know that, hey, there's going to be plenty to eat. Right? You don't have to play with this piece of cardboard that's trash, or recycling in our case. Right? They're just things like that. People, we tend to develop habits that help govern our lives in order to survive in this world. And what Paul's saying here is that when sin is our master, we've developed some habits that have ruled how we live our life. There are certain things that we've become accustomed to doing that govern our feelings, that govern our actions, that govern our speech, right? And now that we have this new master in Christ, he says, where is it? Now present your members as slaves to righteousness, leading to sanctification. He's saying that now you need to pursue new habits. You need to present your body, your members, your brain, your mind, your heart, your hands, your feet, all of the members of your body to Christ in a pursuit of righteousness and sanctification. And sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes a while because you don't recognize that the old way of doing things was actually a sinful way of doing things. Right? And then somebody comes into your life and helps you to recognize that, hey, that's what the old master would want you to do. But you've been set free from that. And you need to claim that. And you need to trust that. And you need to follow Christ. And you need to pursue righteousness. And you need to pursue sanctification. That's what it is that He's called you to. This is keeping you in bondage and inhibiting you from living the abundant life that Jesus has promised.